Hi everyone. Today is June 28th, 2018. My name is Mondo and you are tuning in to episode 60 of Hung Jury Gaming Podcast. Today we were joined by Justin and Kevin as we discuss the changes Epic Games is making with the upcoming patch to Fortnite, what PUBG has done to counter Fortnite's rule on the Battle Royale genre up until now, a new Halo TV show on Showtime, plus we expanded our What Are We Playing Now segment to a full what games we want to play but haven't been able to yet conversation. Please don't mind the dust as we did experience some technical issues, but I think we handled it rather well. I'd like to think so at least. So all technical issues aside, sit back and enjoy. I look at the Fortnite topic and I'm like, oh God.
I really do think it's how basketball analysts feel about talking about LeBron does. Man, can you believe LeBron? Especially look, I'm no LeBron hater at all. I'm not. I appreciate the guy's talent, and I think the guy is really probably, not even arguably at this point, the best player on the court, in the world. I won't say the universe. I feel like that's very arrogant of me to say. Nah, there could be some really good alien basketball players for sure.
I hate when they say Miss Universe, and Jim Gaffigan did a stand-up on that. He was like, Miss Universe. That's a little arrogant.
That's super arrogant.
Who are we to say she is the prettiest girl in the universe? That's damn.
The worst part about it all, though, is that I give my brother some grief for being obsessed the way he is with Fortnite. Even after playing 5 or 6 hours straight, I'll see him when he takes the occasional break to eat, something that he remembers to do after gaming.
I mean,
he will watch YouTube videos of Fortnite as he's eating. And I'm going, dude, how is it possible that you can be so interested in something? Yet every time I turn on the TV and there's a story about LeBron, even if it's about his hairline and how it's receding very quickly, I am glued to the screen. It's stupid.
Today in ESPN, we're going to talk about the 2 inches LeBron lost on his headline. What do you think, Jane? Jane, John, I really think that his hairline is not really receding as far as we think. It's only at 1.5 centimeters lower than we thought before. Yeah,
that's because he's honestly been working so hard.
He has been working so hard, and maybe some meds. You know what? I can relate with your brother though. It's happened to me countless times. I'll be playing EFT, Escape from Tarkov, right? And I'm so involved in the game, and I like it so much that when I eat, I'm pretty much gonna turn on a Twitch streamer and watch. It's like you're kind of into the game now. Fortnite's on a whole different level though, because I don't see Escape from Tarkov on my news. I don't see it on my Facebook feed. I don't see it on my Instagram feed. Fortnite's everywhere. I don't know how many times we brought up Fortnite on this podcast, but again, there's news to be had. There's new updates coming, and I think a lot of people are either there. I think it's pretty much 3 camps right now. You're either on the I don't care team, which you probably don't play Fortnite. You're on the I am happy about these changes team, which is probably you're either new or you're like us. We're not really great at Fortnite building mechanics. Or you're a pro and you've mastered the art of building. So these changes are effectively going to nerf the building mechanics. Epic has released statements and they've said that it's not really where they want the game to go. They always intended the game to be in some way inclusive. That's why it's free to play. It's always been originally free to play. So they want people to kind of jump in and be able to enjoy the game to some extent. Now there is some, obviously some level of difficulty and skill, but they think the building mechanic is too much. They think that it kind of forces people to do one thing at the end. You can't, if you jump in, right, and you don't know how to build, there is virtually no way for you to get to the end of the game. You cannot get to number 1. It's just not happening. So they're nerfing it. I think that they're doing it by a form of capping your resources. So you just you don't have enough things to build with, what do you think? You think this is a viable way of achieving that goal? I mean, I don't know.
I want to start off by saying that there's actually a 4th camp, and that's the camp that thinks it's hilarious to stand on the sidelines and watch people bicker each other over these changes. With that being said, though,
dare they?
I do think it's kind of a cheap move on Epic Games' parts. How can you have a game that's grown in popularity over one of the primary functions of the game, one of the primary designs, the building process is what distinguishes it from PUBG, right? That lawsuit that we're going to talk about in a little bit that just recently was dropped, that related to the similarities in the game. But really what Fortnite was able to argue there was, hey, no, look at this building component. I mean, these are two different games. Yeah, they're a similar game mode, but we're not copyrighting anything. We're not stealing, a patented idea or anything like that. So that's your main difference.
I totally
and
agree.
then now to let people, I guess to have even more players come in or make it more accessible to new players, and it already is, because it's the most popular game, in the world right now. And if it continues its run like this, it might be the most popular game for a span of period ever, But
Totally with you.
but
I totally get it, and I think that with Epic Games, like, this is kind of a weird move. It's a weird move. Like, that's what I think. Like, I think like it kind of goes away from the essence of the game, like you said. Like it was built on that mechanic. But I mean, I don't know. Now, before we continue, we had originally lost him from a thunderstorm. It completely wiped the electricity off his house, but he managed to get it back in. Kevin, what's up, dude?
Hello, you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Fine?
I
Okay,
hear you.
awesome. Yeah, this is I lost power. How freaking random. Okay, I'm here.
Justin, you hear him?
let's do it.
Yes.
7 minutes. That's not bad at all. That was quick.
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, it's just a little small power outage. Very short.
Very
Short
proud,
lived.
yeah. But we're good. We're back in, and it's working. It's working fine. We were originally talking, like our topic was Epic Games, Fortnite, and how they're changing it. They're moving away from the building mechanic. They're focusing more on kind of introducing new players because of the fact that the building mechanic just, like for some reason, they think that it's keeping people from reaching the end game, like from reaching the, being number one. And I think it's kind of true, but I also think it takes away from people who've spent time and effort to learn. I mean, some people are building I would never be able to build that way, like ever, because I just I'm not gonna spend the time
Dude,
to learn it.
it's in the title. Fortnite. Building forts.
Forts.
Come on. Let's not overcomplicate this here. It just seems kind of ridiculous to change that so late game so that people can play it easier and be good. Sorry, that's part of. Listen, you can't both ask for competitive games like this to be to be treated with respect, right? For esports to be viewed as a legitimate sport, but at the same time, make it out so that everyone should get participation trophies and everyone should feel like they have a chance to be good. No, some people are going to be good at the game and others are going to suck. That's just the reality of it.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Yeah,
I suck, I don't play it. I mean, I'm sorry. Just like I suck at real sports, so I don't play those either. I mean,
yeah, no, yeah, that's kind of like, imagine if like in the NBA, right? They were like, so look, we've come to realize that a lot of people in college basketball want to play the sport, but
and
some of
they're
them
just too short.
Some of them, like we put them against LeBron, and
Yeah,
we
they're just too
figure
short.
that LeBron's obviously an outlier, right? So you know what? We actually lowered the basket from the normal. I don't know, Kevs. What's the normal height of a basket? Like,
Yeah, it's 10 feet
10
normally,
feet?
so it's
No,
we'll go
we're
8
bringing
feet.
it down to 8 feet. Yeah,
8
so that
feet,
way
7 feet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
but
think,
do you know how strange that'd be for someone like LeBron? He would only have to lift his arm to shoulder level. He
I mean,
wouldn't-
100%. I mean, I think
he'd
that
be
that's
able
I
to
think
put it into
that's
a
exactly it. That's exactly it. That's the thing, though. Do we really think that by removing the building mechanic, the people who master the building mechanic are not going to master whatever meta?
That's a
the
nice
game
way
is
to
on?
turn that around. No, I don't. I think those are two just shooting without being able to get out of a precarious situation by building yourself out of it, they're two completely different things. I just don't think that one skill necessarily translates well to the other. It's much easier to just shoot. At least in my opinion, seems more difficult to be able to do that while also fording off someone's walls and other shit that they're throwing out in front of you to distract you and make sure they don't kill you while you're trying to build your own stuff too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you're pretty much saying it doesn't translate where that the shooting mechanic will actually, like the lack of building mechanic will actually keep those players at bay. You know, we're not going to have an issue with them if the building mechanic is nerfed. That the same issue we're seeing now. Mm-hmm. Kevin and I have played Fortnite for about 3 weeks, and it's you know what, so let me kind of like stand back now, you know, because I've been taking like the neutral point of view, but I'm gonna say I'm on the team that, since I suck at building, for me this is actually a welcoming change for me. I think that in a general sense, I find it odd that Epic's doing it, and I think that it's like if I wanted to win, I'd probably go and play, you know, PUBG. I'd go play a game that's not, or you know, not building based. But since I do play Fortnite, and since I am not a pro player who's mastered the building mechanic, I kind of like this. I mean, I don't know how it's going to resonate with, you know, people, but I'm excited. You know, it's a chance for me to be able to play the game and enjoy it in a way that, you know, that doesn't require me having to build towers of shit. And if you play Fortnite, you could, Kevin, you know, like Kevin, how does it feel when you're like top 5, right?
Oh,
and you know death is coming to you.
Oh yeah.
You know it's coming because you already see in the far distance a freaking castle.
Oh, castle, yes.
A castle. Yeah, it's a huge castle.
Build your own castle, my friend.
It is so hard.
It's an art.
Right.
It's an art.
Which is why you have to be really good at doing it. I mean, that's why you have to invest like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like bar prep number 2, you know, like.
Oh God, please don't compare anything to bar prep. Bar prep's terrible.
It is so hard. Well, both of them are hard, but I'm saying like for gamers, the building part, it's not easy. You know, and I know some gamers can pick it up a lot quicker than, you know, obviously if you are playing 8 hours a day, you'll pick it up in a week, I'm sure. Like, you know, it's not, you know, there's no science to it, but if you're not, and if you're playing casual, you're not. Now, let's kind of like shift focus a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time. Do you think this will bring in new players, or do you think this will hurt them in the end? Do you think this is pushing more the players that, like the foundation of the players that are there, it's pushing them away and it's going to hurt them in the end?
I genuinely think it does not matter. Okay. Until there's a legitimate, contender for the top multiplayer esports game, shooter in the world, which is certainly not PUBG because of all the mistakes they're making. And the fiasco they got going on with these, what are they called? Event passes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're gonna probably appease players like yourself who would have dropped it if, these changes weren't made eventually. But I think the people who have been glued to it, for 10 to 12 hours a day, when you do something for that long, it becomes part of your like social structure, you know? It's something that you and all your friends do. It's what you talk about. It's a hobby, or like a passion project. So you're not just going to get rid of it because they took away something that, you know, maybe you were good at. I would imagine if you play it that much, you're competitive enough to continue to play it. So
I like that. I like that perspective. You know, you're kind of like saying, like in a very nice way, you're saying people who are going to be good at it are going to be good at it no matter what. Like at least competitively, they're going to fight to be better in whatever sense they're going to be.
Right.
You know, because I agree, the building mechanic doesn't translate to the shooting mechanic, but a good player is going to be like, I'm gonna better my skill in the shooting mechanic then.
For sure.
You know, like yeah.
And I also don't want us to be too dramatic because let's not give Epic Games too much of a hassle. They're not saying that they're going to get rid of the building mechanics entirely, that it's no longer a huge part of their game. They're just making some changes so that if it was the equivalent of a Hearthstone card that was 5 mana, but it had like the 10 attack, it would go down to 7 attack and maybe go up 1 health or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I actually know like that reference is actually pretty good. Like I visualized it. I was like, that makes sense.
Well,
that's
let's
exactly
hope our listeners have played Hearthstone before.
Oh, I'm sure. On a little switch right there, we've kind of covered that, but I want to bring up really quickly. I've been recently kind of like, diving a little more into PUBG. I started with PUBG and then I stopped playing PUBG because I really wasn't happy with the whole loot system. I thought it was like quite frankly anemic. There's really not much to do. I spoke quite a bit about this last week, but there's just some things that I want to bring up. So I learned this today. I'm sorry if it's old news for you guys, but I'm sure I don't think it's news for our hosts here. I'm sure it's news for you guys, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So today I learned that. So how there's an event pass for PUBG. It's the same thing as the battle pass for Fortnite, where you pay $10 and you gather a level of challenges, and every challenge you level up, you get gear from each challenge. If I'm not mistaken, there's like 30 levels and there's 24 items you can get. Hear me out. So in Fortnite, we know that every level you get, let's say an outfit or a cheer emote or something. That is permanent for you to keep throughout your account. For the life of your account, you have that emote. You have that outfit. You have that, sticker or spray paint or whatever. I just learned that in PUBG, out of the 24 items you get, 17 are permanent and 7 of them are called, ready for this, trial items. And what those 7 items are is they're temporary items that you don't get to keep. You only get them to keep for the season. And they're kind of like an incentive for you to then go and pay for a loot because you'll find them in that crate.
Oh, really?
What? The fucking fuck.
Wait a second. So you could end up buying the items that you had only for trial later?
Yeah. So it ends up that, let's say you play the 30 levels and you're like, oh man, I'm so excited. I got all my items from the $10 I already paid plus the $30 I paid to buy the game. 7 of the items you get from leveling up are not yours. They're demo items. They're trial items. And it's PUBG's way of saying, hey, look, try out this car. If you like it, you can buy it. That's it. So even within an event pass that you have to pay $10 for, you're still being bamboozled into more money. Like, let me tell you, at this point, I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed. I did not think after the key fiasco with me, earning a loot box and then having to pay for a key to open the loot box, okay? After that fiasco, I didn't think it could get worse. And let me tell you, the Blue Hole really outdid themselves. Now I'm like, and it hurts because I like playing PUBG. I like it. But I feel like as a principal, personally, I just don't like playing it. Like, I feel like I'm like in some way, like incentivizing people. Like if they see me playing, right, they'll be like, oh, look, he's playing PUBG. Like, let me try it. And I just don't want that. Like, I think that they need to have like a huge shift of momentum. Like, people just need to stop playing the game until they get their shit together. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I mean, seriously, like you're paying if you pay for the event pass, you're practically paying for a full game that has stuff locked behind. And there's like, the loot system alone is crap. Absolute crap. Like, the loot is like, if you don't pay for it, you're not getting loot. Trust me. You're just
This
not.
is
like,
the complete opposite of what Microsoft is doing in response to Sony
absolutely.
screwing up with the cross progression and the crossplay. You saw that they released an ad with Nintendo,
it was
right?
good. So good. So awesome. It was so
brilliant. Good. Absolutely brilliant. And these, the developer of PUBG had the opportunity to capitalize on this little drama that's going on now with the building, and instead they're just doing this. Why? Yep. I don't understand.
Yeah. Just a really quick kind of like summary on that. Sony's been a real dick about it all. My filter today is gone. I'm just so upset about everything right now. I just am like just between PUBG and now Sony's stupidity. Sony's really being, they're being very restrictive on the whole crossplay thing, and we spoke about it, very in detail last week. But the general gist is that they just don't want to, they don't want to give in. They released a very watered down statement earlier this week saying that, that they're actually considering it. They just, there's a lot of moving parts to it, blah, blah, whatever. Cool. Yeah. It sounds like a really bad excuse for a boyfriend getting caught cheating. It's just like, we'll work better. We'll try harder. This and that. No, like we know what we want. We all know what we want. There's no we know it. We want crossplay. We want cross saves. We want cross progression. It's as easy as that. And Microsoft just nailed the fucking coffin. And let me tell you, I've been tough on Microsoft. I've been really tough, but I think that this is probably the smartest move they've made, even with all of E3, with all of the great stuff that they come out with. This has been like their golden. This has been the highlight of 2018, and it was them releasing a commercial, pretty much with collaborating with Nintendo Switch, by the way, with Nintendo, pretty much just highlighting that their crossplay. They're totally open for crossplay. They're totally open for cross progression. They're totally open for cross saving your accounts. They're for it, and they're open for it. And I think that was such a jab at PlayStation and Sony and then Sony released a statement. Love competition.
I do too. And that's fair play too. There's no cheap shots. Cause you remember what PlayStation did to Xbox on the E3 year, where Xbox has said that all the games you were always going to have to be online, that it would all be digital. Yeah. Literally the next conference when they were talking about the PS4, they were just like, oh, physical copies. Damn, that's right. That's how we do it. You can share it with your friends. Yeah. And it's like, jeez.
Look, there is no high ground here. It's just two companies battling it out. The only thing is that as a consumer, we want one particular thing. At the moment that Sony jabbed Xbox, Sony was on the upper hand. Sony was the king of the hill at that moment. Like they were the ones, with the moral ground. They were the ones with, oh, look, we'll give you, a physical copy. In this case, Xbox the one on the right side. Xbox and the more of the consumer on the consumer side. And I think that Sony needs to honestly fix their shit, because as much as I would love to say people are, Sony will survive it, which I think they will. I don't want to say it because I want to see change. I hope that they suffer a little. They need to suffer a little, because that'll at least get things moving.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yep. Justin, you want to cover really quickly the news that you sent me on Andromeda, the Mass Effect failure?
Yes. So, BioWare producer, an executive producer for Andromeda, Mark Dara, he has a Twitter account, and he basically went on this 6 or 7 tweet ramble about how he was going to address whether Mass Effect Andromeda had a fair shake when it was released. And he referred to a bunch of other Nintendo games that came out at the time, such as, and some PS4 games, such as Nier Automata, Neo, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. And those all released within weeks of each other at the same time that Andromeda was coming out. So he was more neutral about it than I thought someone defending the game would be, because he admitted that, and this is quoting him, that Mass Effect was a deeply flawed game when it was released. But he thinks that the 72% it has on Metacritic would have raised up to like a 77 or 78 possibly if it would have launched at a different time. So it was kind of judged more harshly because of its competitors. But I don't know. I just find it all silly, because as a huge Mass Effect fan, with all the anticipation leading up to that game, after what they did at the end of Mass Effect 3 with that god-awful ending that they then try to fix and made it terrible after that. You lay this brick on us, you might as well just come out and say, hey, listen, we apologize. We're going to come back to Mass Effect in the future. We will redeem ourselves. We fucked up. That's it. Just come out and say it. Here's the thing. When you release your games, you have competition. You're not the only games in the market. It's a saturated market now. So to say other games did it better, no. Your game was a 72 because it was a C, because it was painfully mediocre, painfully average. So I didn't want to grill the guy, but I also am slowly starting to lose belief in BioWare, which I think was could have been what CD Projekt Red is to the world now.
I personally think the opposite.
Really?
I think that, well, not the opposite completely. I'm just saying, I think, so he brings up, right, that the game was extremely flawed. I agree. He brings up all of the top tier games that released alongside the game. I agree. What I don't agree with was with the 72. I think the 72 is incredibly generous. Let me tell you.
Oh my God.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, a 72.
I think it's pretty good, isn't it?
No,
that's really good.
A 72 is a C, man.
Yeah, that game deserves a 50. That game deserves a 50.
I don't know about that. I put in 80 hours into that game. I don't think it was that bad. Please don't tell me I'm that big of a fan that I would play a terrible game.
I've followed enough reviews and games and stuff like that to say that I've played much better games that have scored 75 or 72 or 70. Now, can that be biased because you've had players coming in? Possibly. Maybe you have Mass Effect fans, but I think most of the Mass Effect fans were almost not really, they weren't going to score this better. They were going to score this worse, right? I think most Mass Effect fans came in thinking, oh my God, this is horrible. Where I think new players may, because I was a new player, and I went in and the first, I would say, I don't know, I played 33 hours of the game. And the first, I would say 15 hours captivated me. They were good, right? But it felt okay, one thing, here's one thing that I have, and I don't want to get too in deep because we have a lot to talk about today. But when I look at a game, I hate when people say, oh, but you put in 50 hours or you put in 100 hours. It was worth your money. And I'm like, it was if I look back at those 100 hours or I look back at that time that I spent and I see it was worth it, right? With the ending that it had and for me, the lack of replayability, I really didn't feel like I got my money's worth. I could have easily just not played the game. Had I known what the ending was, had I known that I really wouldn't have felt that great about it after.
Yes, that's if I could go back and take back the 80 hours I played on it, I would do it in a second. Trust me.
I mean, I really would have just ran through the story as fast as possible because I'm not going to not play the game. But I'm not going to put the extra, I don't know, how many countless side fucking quests did you do in that stupid game to then find out that it meant nothing?
No, it just, it felt like a 2010 RPG with, the graphics of a 2014 game because those faces were just god awful.
And no, look. If you want to say 72 is a fair score, fine. Okay, I'll sit with that. Fine. I think we all have different perspectives on how how strictly we place games in our spectrum, and that's fine. But I think that for him to have expected more than a 72 then is a little outlandish. And then I agree with you on this point. To compare it to these, what I would consider giants in their genre, no. I'm sorry. Horizon Zero Dawn is still a game that I still recommend to people at this moment. And that game came out, what? 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago, right? I think all these games came out, 2 years ago? So it wasn't last year, it was the year before that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago. Yeah, I think so.
2017.
No? Last year. Yeah, no, man, you see how it felt like forever ago. I still recommend Horizon Zero Dawn. And I know people who've played, what's the name of this game? I keep forgetting it, but I know it here. Oh, Neo. Neo is a great game. It even got part 2 now. So I don't know. I don't know. I think that it was very, very positive of him to think that, the game could, do better than 72. I think that he should be happy it's a 72. I think 72 is where it's at. I think, I think it's a good mix.
In all fairness to him, he ended it with, you launched the best game you can, Andromeda has a lot of problems and got lapped by genuinely better games. So he's not in any way saying that the game's great.
Yeah, he's
and
not
that it should have been treated better, but I just think they need to come out and be like, we fucked up, because they did, and that's not the end of the world. There plenty of companies do that every now and then, and if you get your shit together and come out with the next game and just blow it off the water, like for example, look at what they did with God of War, which after the last two games was nowhere near as popular as it was when it first came out. So.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. What do you guys think about Anthem? Anthem had a recent setback. About 2 weeks ago. I think that something happened. I have to stop. I'm bringing this shit up off the top of my head because I remember things as I'm seeing them. I'm sure our audience right now is like, "What the fuck, bro? You gotta stop doing that." You know,
they postponed the release date. I think they postponed the release date.
Yeah, they've done that they've already done that a few times already.
No, I think it's still due for February.
It's due for February, but they had a setback in the. It was something in the development in the studio itself. Somebody left the studio, and I was like, "Shit," you know. I'm gonna look if I find out more about that, I'll probably put a tweet on it and I'll talk more about it next episode. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I know that I was hoping one of you guys maybe would have known about it, but on the top of my head, I remember that they had a setback. I have to stop bringing up random shit like that.
But I'm sure that's very typical nowadays. I
just hope it doesn't detract from the game itself, because I know people who are really, really excited for Anthem. I hope it doesn't disappoint, because it's already on it's already showing symptoms of these titles that have issues. You know, it wasn't Anthem. I am sorry. Take that away. It wasn't Anthem. It was Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3. Something happened with the studio.
Shocking.
Yeah, my bad. Guys, wipe it away. Anthem is perfectly fine. It wasn't. It was Crackdown 3. I didn't even search it. My mind just remembered it. It was Crackdown 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, as I was saying, it's like a Crackdown 3. It was Crackdown 3.
If Crackdown 3 doesn't suck at this point, I'd be shocked. Because there's no way
it doesn't even look appealing at this point. No. At this point, I'm it has the graphics of a 2015 game.
It's going to be terrible.
I don't know what to expect, and I feel bad because Terry Crews is on that project, and I like Terry Crews. You know,
yeah.
I'm begging him to just jump out before he loses any more credibility with that game. Because god damn, man, I don't know. I've stopped being excited for that game the second I heard a few times delay, and I was like, I'm not following it anymore.
Have you guys heard about the new big Master Chief news?
No, but you can bring it up because I haven't heard it.
Okay, so Showtime announced today that they ordered a live-action first season for a Halo TV series. It's going to be 10 episodes long. We don't really know anything about what the setting's going to be or who the characters are, but I am pretty pumped. It's been a while since... first off, we know with the movie Video Game Curse, which could be a whole episode in itself, pretty much every video game that's come out in the past 10, 15 years has been awful. They just don't seem to be able to get it right. And I think a part of that is because it's very hard to take this interactive experience that usually have stories over, a course of 18, 20 hours, right? Dozens of hours for some. And then, try to confine that. Halo, I guess up until now, it's 6 games. So yeah, it's literally dozens, if not hundreds of hours. And then try to confine it into a 2-hour experience. That's really difficult. So not only did they do it, but unlike The Expanse, which if our listeners don't know, that's a TV show, a science fiction TV show that was on Sci-Fi. It just got picked up by Amazon. But it's based off a very popular book series by the same name. And, I think that they haven't really been able to give it its justice, because they have such a small budget. And that's what I was concerned about one of these other video game franchises like Halo. If you do that on the Sci-Fi Channel, how are you the armor is gonna look cheap. The aliens are gonna be way too CGI-ish. So now they can...
And Sci-Fi has no loyalty, man. Sci-Fi...
That's true.
Sci-Fi's just... Sci-Fi's really burned a lot of its audience. So... Showtime, good.
And they're going to have the production budget to make it real nice too. So I'm pretty pumped about it. Between this and the new Halo game that's coming out, that's working on a new engine and They're not even titling Halo 6. So I think they're trying to give a sort of soft reboot after, the last game that they clearly messed up on. So I'm pretty excited for it.
I think that the whole, and you brought this up. I don't want to take credit where it, I'm going to give it where it's due. I think you were the one who brought it up. You've played Halo. It's your franchise. You're the one who's enjoyed it. I was raised with a PlayStation, so I didn't have the honor of being able to enjoy Halo or the franchise. But you told me that the recent games kind of moved away from the Master Chief storyline. Like, they really didn't focus too much on him. Do you think that's maybe why you're so excited for this upcoming one?
For sure. And even if it's not about Master Chief, at least it's confirmed that Halo Infinite is just a complete Master Chief only game, which is what I was hoping for. I'm just excited that they're recognizing that it's not so much about the quantity as it is the quality. You don't have to give us a game every 2 years. You don't have to give us a bunch of supplementary games. This is great. I'm willing to wait for a gritty, really cool take on the Halo universe that expands that universe and expands our knowledge of it, while also getting a very traditional Halo game where you're going to let me play as Master Chief for a 10-hour campaign and feel like a badass at the end of it. That's it. It's simple.
It's the badass part.
Yeah.
Like for me, like whenever I saw people playing Halo, like it just looked. First of all, I think maybe I'm a little biased because like I really enjoy playing Destiny, but like I felt like the Bungie produced Halo was like really cool. I remember playing Halo 1 like on my PC, and I was like, man, have any of you actually gone back and played Halo 1?
Yes.
No.
But the remastered edition.
Okay, I downloaded on my laptop the first Halo, and let me tell you,
it's a lot of fun, dude.
It still feels great.
It's a lot of fun.
Like the guns feel punchy.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, this is guys, we're talking about it.
You're making me want to play it now. You're making me want to play it. I have the Master Chief collection in my Xbox. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to.
It's crazy. Like I'm like, any potato can run it too, which is great. You don't need like a 1080,
yes.
i7 computer, and it plays really nicely.
It plays.
I'm like, wow,
it plays amazing, and
I think aged well. It's aged.
It
well.
has like fine wine, and I think it's transitioned from that into what was in Halo 5, which felt more like Call of Duty's Spartan version. It's good. I want them to go back to the root. And they're even going back to a ring that, just like the first Halo, it's going to take place entirely. Well, we don't know if it's going to take place entirely, but we at least know a large part of it will take place on a ring. And they said that it's open world. So already my mind is.
Yeah. You see, for me, seeing Halo from the outside, like as somebody who didn't play it, one of the most captivating things about the franchise for me was the idea of this Halo. It was like, very monolithic, very like, wow, like this game design is incredible. Like, the idea that you're like the first level when you're walking in like the valley, and you just look up, and like you see in the horizon, like just the whole the horizon like literally just warps upward, and you're like, wow, this is really cool. To go back to that would be really cool. I'm very excited. I think didn't they mention that the new Halo is going to be on PC as well? They're kind of trying to do a whole
also on PC.
Jumping on that immediately. I'm so excited.
And that's actually why I think Halo 3 is the best, or at least one of the best single player first-person shooter campaigns of all time, because it's just got these gigantic, big, open spaces. Halo 1 has some of that too, but there's like vehicles running around everywhere, enemies everywhere,
well,
and
you also had you also had the technology with Halo 1. I mean, they just couldn't do it.
No, of course not. And I'm sure they would have.
You couldn't do it. They did try it, I'm sure, but like even the view distance was incredible. Fog too far away. But
that openness. Now that they're going to have an open world on the setting of the first one, I'm really excited about it. I'm also not a big fan of the Forerunners, right? So.
Yeah.
This new trilogy stepped away from the Covenant a little bit. They still have it in each of the last two games, but the main enemy are these robots that teleport everywhere and shoot like energy beams at you.
Seems to be a thing that games are just jumping to at this point.
It is, right?
Call of Duty's doing it too, and like it's just
Gears of War did it too.
Yeah.
But
Kevin, did you play the new Halos?
No, the only Halo I played was Halo Reach a couple years ago. That's the only Halo I played.
See, the difference is with Gears of War, why I think it's okay, is because in the last game, they made it so that the robots were the people that you started off fighting against, and then the rest of the game, it was, I don't remember what they're called, but it's not the Locust like it was in the original Gears of War games, but they're basically the same thing. They come out of the ground. They're even creepier than the Locusts are, really, like more ravenous, not as organized, but, and they're still the main focus. So I think it was an okay transition. In this, the robots get more attention in the last two games than the aliens do. And I don't know if you guys ever played Halo, but shooting at a grunt as it's running away from you, screaming at the top of his lungs is one of the most hilarious things. Throwing a plasma grenade on one of them and then watching them run up to an elite and the elite freak out as they both blow up. Hilarious. So I hope they go back to that as well.
Yeah. No, I think that I'm excited to jump into this. I'm excited to try it out. It'll be my new like transition, into like the whole Halo series.
Hey man,
so I'm excited.
I bought a PS4 so that I could play with you and Kevin.
Yeah.
And in return, you just play some Halo with me.
I will play. So this is Kevin. We've kind of like lost him. We've been having issues with him all the time. I don't know. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Perfectly fine.
Nope.
Yeah, so I think he's been unable to hear Justin. It's a technical glitch, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to fix it. But I think in the audience, you'll be able to hear Kevin. Unfortunately, Kevin and Justin are like in like this like feud. They just don't want to talk to each other. It's just I'm trying to work it out. They just hate each other so much.
Justin. No, okay.
But I know that Kevin wanted to ask Justin why. And Justin, you know what? Just bring it up. You bought a PlayStation. You've been an Xbox player for a long time.
Yep.
What's your take on it? Like, why did you decide to at least add this? Because you're not switching. You still have your Xbox. Why are you adding the PlayStation to your arsenal? I'm just curious, and I know Kevin's definitely curious.
Well, Kevin, sorry I can't hear you, but I think you know what my answer is going to be. It's exclusives. It's exactly what those games are intended to do. To get someone like me who is on the other side, who for a while now has been salty, been like, whatever, I'll just play my brother's PlayStation when I get the chance, or I'll get to it. And then you're sitting there with your Xbox going, man, here's the thing. I would, normally it would be cool because I'll say I'll get to it and I have other games to play, but I don't have anything to play here. There's no point. On top of that, all the people I want to play with on these games that are for both consoles are on PlayStation, and PlayStation doesn't believe in cross-play. So what the hell? I also wanted to try the 4K
Are you
experience.
saying that Sony's cross-play restrictions got you to buy a PlayStation?
Yes, that's why you can't get too upset at them. I mean, they're being assholeish about it for sure.
It's
because they're
Kevin,
lying about the
this,
reason.
Man. Like my main complaint with Sony is the reason we got Justin to jump onto the PlayStation community. That's fantastic.
It
worked, right? It worked. Kevin, so Justin, I know that I'm trying to like translate through the chat. Justin's main reason is exclusives for Sony. He said that he enjoys the idea of being able to play those exclusives, but he also enjoys the fact that now he can play with people like us who don't have Xbox. Well, you have Xbox, but you barely play it. You don't play it at all.
I don't know at all. I want to. It's in like my backlog of games I want to play, but
you brought up a very interesting point. So we're gonna close off this episode. I'm gonna give it another 10 minutes, and I just want to go through. And I'm gonna start with Kevin first. So Justin, bear with me here.
No problem.
Kevin, what are your the games that you right now have on a full list? And Justin, don't worry, I got you covered. What are the games you have on a list that I know you need to play? Yes. But we're also damn busy that we haven't gotten to yet. What are your games?
Okay, so I have a few.
Yeah.
I thought I had more. I just probably have to search through all my shit and see what I have. But at least I think I have about at least 5. So I have the Shadow of Colossus, the remake, and make for PS4, which I bought and just haven't had a chance. This one, I've had it for a few years now. I don't know why. Shovel Knight, I'm not sure what year it came out, but I know I've had it for a while.
Shovel Knight, I think, came out like maybe like I think 2024. No, it's a while now.
Yeah,
but
it's a while.
But you're playing that on the Switch. 2014?
No, so I bought Shovel Knight for the 3DS and played in the first 30 minutes.
You play on 3DS.
So I played for the first 30 minutes and I stopped playing it. And then I rebought it like later on because they re-released it for the PS4 version. So I'm gonna end up playing PS4 version. I think they have like a special boss of Kratos, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be kind of cool. So I have that, and then the Hellblade, which came out recently, is coming out for Xbox now, and then the Assassin's Creed Origins are like my top 4 right now.
But Assassin's Creed Origins, that one like,
it's long.
Would you ever really get to that? Because like that's like hours. Like Justin, Justin was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this game," and I'm like, "Dude, you better sit down and like rethink your life right now," because that game is like insanely long. Yeah, it's
long. Actually,
insane.
I'm sorry to like change topics real quick, but I know because remember me and you used to play Assassin's Creed every year, every one that came out. And I usually like to look up how long it takes to beat games. I would go to the website like how long to beat. And then they shows that the previous Assassin's Creeds were only like 12, 15 hours. Well, this was like at least 27 to 30. So it's interesting how they made this game like twice as long as your traditional Assassin's Creed game.
Well, it's because they pretty much cap locked you at the level. That's why.
Yeah.
Like the level, they capped you. So like you could not get to every single boss until you like played through the area, and then so even if you finish everything in the story to get to the next boss, you still needed to do all like mini quests and all that stuff to level up to then get to the next boss. And I mean that would take you easily 3 or 4 hours. So each boss was like just exponentially getting you farther and farther away from like the time that you originally put for the game,
which kind of sucks. But yeah, so
I fall in line with give me the story first. Right? Let me enjoy the story, and then let me weed out, like the quest lines and all that stuff after. I prefer that, kind of like the way Destiny just lets you go through the story and then, you do everything after. I prefer that better. It gives you more like, I don't know. This is my take on it.
I agree. Yeah. Because it's not forcing you to do everything.
No. Origins, I doubt you'll finish that one eventually, because that was a long one.
I just think it's like I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in so long that I feel like it's due. It's like due already to play something.
Well, we'll have Odyssey coming up next October. So I
feel like that one might be even longer. I have a feeling.
I'm excited for that one. I think I'm more excited for that one than I am for finishing Origins. So you've named Shadow of Colossus, Shovel Knight, Assassin's Creed Origins,
and the Hellblade.
Hellblade, yeah, dude. That's actually one that I know. I'm actually gonna like try and get Justin to play. That's an excellent game.
Yeah,
excellent. Is that like your full list?
Yeah, I'll just say that because I think I still have Mario on the Switch, which you probably will kill.
You haven't finished Mario?
Yes. You see,
dude, just sit down for like 4 hours and play it. It's not that long.
I know.
I crash coursed that one.
It's sad.
Just finish it. And it's awesome. It's excellent. I finished it I think within 2 days. I just jumped on it and I finished it.
I looked up. It's like I think like 10, 12 hours max.
So is that your exclusive list for now? That's your backlog.
Yes.
It's okay. So Justin, we're shifting the conversation on now to you. Are you still there?
Yes, and I think Hellblade's a great option. You're also right in what you told them about Assassin's Creed Origins. I've been trying to get through that too, but it's a very dense game. And while Egypt is really beautiful, I don't know if the story is as interesting as you would want, to continue to push you forward. I mean, the other RPGs that are out today are too interesting to like play a pseudo RPG without as good story. Which is what they're trying to change with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's the same.
It feels more, it feels more linear in that sense. You know, you've got more, and they said like, I mean, now you can make choices.
Yeah, there's conversational branches, dialogue trees. You have, they're using The Witcher as an influence. They legitimately want for you to have that at all. Any game that uses it for reference is that's smart. But so my backlog games. Horizon Zero Dawn for sure. I'm definitely gonna do Hellblade. But
Hellblade's
also
excellent.
One that's a little bit more under the radar, and that I've played a lot of is Dying Light. So I think it didn't get.
But wait, you didn't play Dying Light 1? I thought you did, but you didn't finish it.
Right, I haven't finished it yet. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
okay.
And I want to. I know nothing's gonna pass on to the second game, but I just gone so far in it, and I think it came out at the wrong time because the market at that point between The Walking Dead and the Dead Island games and the God knows State of Decay and all the other zombie games, including The Walking Dead that came out during that period, it was just a saturated, way oversaturated market. But it's by far, to me, the superior of all of those because you can only hit so many things over the head and over and over and over again with different weapons for it to get a little boring and you want things changed up. So this not only has your traditional slow zombies, but it has fast zombies. It also has
diverse. It's got a variety of
very
ways
diverse
for you to tackle it on. Yeah,
exactly. And
it's
I
know some games get stale.
Yeah,
that.
Exactly. And it's also got humans who are part of different factions that you have to deal with, which the new game also has and is emphasizing more because you can make decisions that affect those factions, which you can't really do much in the first game.
Dying Light 2 feels like a whole different game, though.
It does.
Like, when I see Dying Light 2, I see, like, it doesn't remind me of Dying Light 1 in the same sense. Like, it doesn't feel like... It has the same, obviously, the same atmosphere and the same, but it feels like a different mechanic completely. You know, where Dying Light originally felt like, I don't know, very secluded, very, you know, like, you're running through, like, you're doing more...
That's true.
I feel like Dying Light 2 feels more like community-based, you know, like more like...
It does.
You've got more like things involved.
But remember also that there's a huge narrative change between the two of them because the first one was taking place in this little, I want to say it was a country in the Middle East, although I'm not sure, but there's a city inside it that you have isolated from the rest of the world. It's quarantined. And you go in there, and that's why it's so secluded, because by the time you get there, most people are already screwed if they haven't reached a haven yet. Well, this is when the zombie outbreak affects the entire world, or in Europe. I think they said it takes place in a European city, a fake one. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about the second one. I gotta finish playing the first one. I just think for all those listeners out there who enjoy first-person games, and this game you can actually play co-op too, which is pretty cool. But who enjoy bashing zombies over the head, now you can do it and also hardcore parkour at the same time, which is pretty cool. And it's not as clunky as it looks. It's as simple as holding down one button and you run across and you feel like a badass because you're able to outrun all the zombies, especially at night when they become extremely fast and are able to jump along the buildings and parkour with. So I definitely think it's worth going back to. But to summarize all this up, the backlog's not what matters. It's the future log. Because holy cow, do we have a lot,
we've got a lot
of games coming out, you know, between Fallout 76.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming out.
Red Dead Redemption 2 and Spider-Man coming out as well. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
You've named those titles. I'm like trying to think of I think for me, Fallout 76 is probably what's going to take up most of my, I don't want to sound like, no pun intended, but like most of my fall time, like the fall semester.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like there's other games. Pokemon's going to be out. That'll be kind of like supplementary, but yeah, for sure. Fall's going to be insane. It's just so many games coming out, and I hope most of them deliver, but I hope a few are disappointing, only so I have time to play other ones. I
You know it's not going to be disappointing with Red Dead. There's just no way.
No, Red Dead won't be disappointing.
Rockstar can't.
Fallout,
They're just.
I doubt Fallout will be disappointing either. I don't think Fallout's going to be disappointing. I don't think so. I think that with Bethesda, what the worst that can happen is that they don't meet current expectations, but even Bethesda's expectations, I think, are better than most other developers.
Without a doubt. Prime. They hold themselves to a higher standard.
Yeah, so maybe they don't do things a certain way, you know, like, for example, like, I know that when Fallout 4 came out, and I can't speak for Fallout 3 or New Vegas, but I can definitely say that with Fallout 4, like, the combat's a little wonky, you know, like it doesn't feel right. Like, I think other games do it better, but it doesn't take away from the full experience. So there might be things in Fallout 76 that we might look at and be like, oh, they could have done this better. So we might be disappointed in certain aspects, but I think the general game is going to be a hit. I think that it's going to be a fun game. That's just my take.
We also have to remember that it's an experiment for them. They're doing it to see if it's something that's viable for them moving forward. And once they create a new engine, you know, I hope that a lot of those, like you said, a lot of that clunkiness, and that rigidness gets changed a little bit and it becomes much more fluid. And since they've done multiplayer before, it'll be easy for them to incorporate it. So I think our goal of one day having a genuine online RPG that you can play with your friends and you can make decisions that matter in the world. And I think that it's getting closer and closer, and games like Fallout 76 are what's going to help make big strides towards it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. For my list, are you done with your
go ahead.
Substantive? With my list, it's actually, I'm not really currently, I have like an ongoing list. So while Kevin had a backlog, and you've appropriately named yours a future log, mine's kind of like a present log. Because I play a lot of like online games. So it's just kind of like continuing the game on the side, and then kind of like, instead of like focusing on one game, I focus a little bit on all the games. Because you can do that with online games. Whereas with a story game, you just want to finish it. You know, so for example, I play Escape from Tarkov. Anybody who plays that knows that there's no story to that. It's pretty much an online loot shooter, where you go and you gather resources and you gather guns and you hope not to die. If you die, you lose it all. So, you know, that's kind of like an ongoing game. And I play that maybe like an hour or two a week, or maybe 3 hours a week if I have the chance. And I recently downloaded DayZ. I'm going to jump on that, and Rust. So anybody who knows about those games, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those games are not necessarily, I mean, they draw a lot of hours. That's for sure. But you can pick them up and drop them whenever you can. You know, you don't have to like stick through a chapter, cutscenes or anything like that. And then the ultimate one is obviously Destiny. I'm not going to bring up Star Citizen. I've put Star Citizen on hiatus until 3.2 drops, hopefully in this coming month. Hopefully not too close to the bar exam, because I will fail. So unfortunately, like, it's just, Star Citizen's like that game. You know, it's like that game. But Destiny, Kevin, Destiny's always there, always behind us, dragging behind us. You know, like Destiny's one. It's like that girlfriend you break up with, and then she's constantly texting you like in the middle of the night, like, "What are you doing?" And you're just like, "Damn it, fine." All right, fine,
some scary woman in your life, Mondo.
What are you talking about? All women are scary. They're all terrifying. In some way or form, they're all terrifying. Trust me. Like when they start getting upset when they're hungry, and you're like, oh shit, this is the day I die. This is today. I haven't fed her. I gotta feed her.
So every day,
it's a terrifying day. No, but for real. Justin, I want to bring this up real quick. Kevin, you can hear me. You can't hear Justin's reaction, but Justin, I have a copy of Destiny for you, and I have a copy of the expansion for you for PlayStation. It's sitting on my sofa, just a few feet away from me. We need to meet up one day so I can give you the copy. You are not held to any obligation. I just wanted the collector's edition, which brings me to why I brought it up. For any of you who want or care about it, the collector's edition, which originally was $250, is now $66 on Amazon. It contains a rather very well-built messenger / backpack that's Destiny styled. It's very nice. Definitely worth the $60. Not worth the $250. So I think that it was a good buy. I have a second copy, so I'm giving it to Justin so he can join the clan. Now, for you guys on PC, I am going to extend so originally we were going to have the giveaway for the Destiny 2 PC expansion. So Destiny 2 copy and the expansion. We were going to have the giveaway end June 30th, but I'm extending it. I want to get a lot more entries, guys. Seriously, it's like a free game. Okay. Kevin, do you want to explain how they can enter? I mean, it's practically just follow us on Instagram and comment on pretty much comment and say how much you like Destiny, right? Like, it's pretty much that. Like, comment on one of our things and just put like, hey, I like Destiny because this. And I think I'll be posting more Destiny stuff, so you can just focus on the Destiny ones,
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You only have to comment once, no spamming. If you spam 10 times, I'll disqualify you. So just put one or twice, it won't add for your shit. Okay. You won't add for your tickets or tokens. It'll just be once and you'll be entered for the giveaway. I haven't forgotten of those of you who've commented on our YouTube and commented on our Instagram from before for recommendations on which game to give away. You are also included, and I've already kept your entries. So that's good. You guys are entered. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so again, to get in for the chance to get a Destiny 2 and an expansion pass, to be clear, expansion is the first year expansion. So it's Curse of Osiris and I think it's the Warmind, right? There's no fancy name for it. It's just Warmind. It's not Forsaken, but you do need this expansion to get Forsaken because you cannot just buy Forsaken on its own. You will need to have played or owned the first expansion and vanilla Destiny 2 copy to have played Forsaken, to enjoy, the Forsaken copy, which comes out in September. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I know that we've had some technical difficulties. Today's been a day where it's like karma just doesn't want us to record, but we've made it through, even though you guys can't hear each other. Hopefully we can fix that in next week's episode because, yeah, not cool. Not cool at all. Technology really pisses me off sometimes. Any last words? Kevin, any last words before we close?
Yeah, I just looked up the Destiny 2 Collector's Edition, and it actually went up. It's actually 148 right now.
Oh, I'm so happy I picked it up. Oh.
Yes, so great buy,
okay.
Actually.
Oh my God, okay. That's good. That's good. So guys, you heard that. Unfortunately, the $66 deal's gone. It's 148 now. Sorry. I mean, it's still like $100 off. I mean,
no, but the 66.
I don't think it's worth it, but
yeah,
it's not worth it because you can pick up Destiny 2 and the expansion pass for like $30 now. So I wouldn't really, push it that far. Justin, any last words before we close episode 60?
Yeah, we didn't talk about this, but Obsidian is open to other developers doing Pillars of Eternity games. If the listeners don't know, the Pillars of Eternity games are these CRPGs, which basically means these RPGs from the top of a party, like a tabletop game, that are on the PC, and I think the first one now is on consoles as well. And so Obsidian, though, is very famous for taking other people's IPs and making games based off of them. And some people think making games that are better based off of them. They made Knights of the Old Republic 2, with the follow-up to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And they also made Fallout New Vegas, the sequel, not really a sequel, but sort of a spin-off of Fallout 3. And a lot of people think New Vegas is better, and a lot of people think that KOTOR 2 is better. I just find it ironic that they're asking people to do for them what they did for other franchises. Maybe they're doing such a good job that people are like, we don't want to compete with that. Maybe they're like, we don't want to like tackle on things you're doing, Yeah. But I'm sure there's always going to be one developer that's going to be like, I can do it better. For sure. It's smart. Yeah. I mean, you're expanding the universe of that, so that'll help make your regular games more popular. And it's sort of out of your hands. Like you said, you let people who know more about it do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else to close up?
No, just thank you guys for listening, and sorry about the technical difficulties today.
You know what? I think the audience understands. We're not this crazy studio. We're trying to do this, on our extra time that we have, whatever little we have. We want to make sure that we get you guys an episode at least once a week. It's been a tough weeks for all of us. I mean, with bar study and all that stuff. I think if most people found out that we were doing this while studying for the bar, they'd probably think we're insane. But it's a good avenue to just take a break and at least stay productive in that break. And I think that a lot of you guys benefit from at least hearing some people talk about what we think about. If you like what you hear, again, you can always subscribe to us on YouTube. You can subscribe to us on Podbean. You can like us on Podbean. You can like us on YouTube. You can like us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. We are everywhere, guys. Absolutely everywhere. You can thank Kevin for his amazing job at keeping the Instagram alive, because God knows I wouldn't have been able to do it. Just don't have enough time. If you follow us on Twitter, that is me behind the wall. So enjoy. If you tweet at us, I'll be the one responding there. And you can always thank Justin for just recommending every freaking giveaway we've always done, because that's just his job, right? Like, I feel like every time I bring up a giveaway, this time, the giveaway was kind of mixed between maybe I could get Justin and Kevin to join PC. So I was like, you know what? Let me try and push the Destiny 2 on PC. So it's inspired to do that route, and then, I mean, the prior Rainbow Six giveaway, that was all Justin. I mean, that was all him. So you know what, guys? Thank you so much. It's because of you that we have this podcast. All right. So we will all catch you next week. I think it was July 3rd. Maybe we'll probably be releasing on Friday for time's sakes. We're not, because we will probably not be recording on we will not be recording on July the 4th. So you'll catch us next week sometime, Friday or Thursday. All right, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.